take us home here talking about Minnesota.
This was one of the most hopeful states at the beginning of the year, and with some news that we've seen over the past couple of weeks, it is more and more looking like Minnesota might not make it through this year. And we've talked about repeatedly, what is the issue? Well, it is a state that involves two governments. What do we mean by that? You have the Minnesota state government, and then you, of course, have tribal government interests, and tribal gaming has the exclusive rights to offer sports betting in the state. You've seen the Democrat Farmer Labor Party work very closely with the tribes to try to get something in place that grants licenses to the tribes and still creates a revenue structure where the state is getting something through its gaming compacts. But you've also seen that horse racing tracks in the state have found some close allies in the Republican Party in the state legislature, and they are pushing very hard for more than what they have gotten so far. They have gotten an offer of some level of revenue sharing, is an offer that was increased this year from past years. They want licenses, and they have not gotten licenses, and the tracks have not gone along with that. Now we're at the point where the more recent news is that the tracks are suing tribes, and this goes back to fights that have nothing to do with sports betting. You want to read more about it, go see the article that Pat Evans put together at Legal Sports Report. No one understands the Minnesota situation as well as Pat does, but you're getting into fights that you've heard of in California before over cards and which games are offered and so on. And, you know, it's a discussion that is devolving in very rapid fashion in Minnesota, and it's going to be out of the control of the legislature because go back to last year. What we saw with the Minnesota State Legislature was they knew that they had both houses of the legislature and the governor's office, and they wanted to move the things they could move to be able to prove that they were getting things done for their constituents. And they looked at sports betting as an issue that was not going to be easy to move last year, and they eventually put it to the side close to the end of the session and said, that's not one that we can focus on. Well, I think the landscape's even tougher for them this year when it comes to sports betting, and we might be looking at another year on the back burner.
Guys, head over to LegalSportsReport.com to not only get all the words for these stories we mentioned on here, there's a story on a new compliance firm that's being put together out there. We got some other stuff on what's going on in the New York market, so be sure and check those stories out over at LSR as well. If you haven't done so already, do appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button. If you want to give us a thumbs up, if you want to give us a rating and a review, we do appreciate all of those as well. For Adam, I am Matt. Talk to you guys next week.